New at 10, 14 years after Columbine, the killing of children at Sandy Hook Elementary is igniting the national debate on gun control.
And now CALL7 investigator John Ferrugia is asking why there's no statewide standard in Colorado for responding to a gunman in a school.
Well, following each horrific shooting, important lessons are learned, contributing both to school training and to law enforcement response that save lives. Yet in Colorado, we found there is no statewide program training students and teachers how to survive. In fact, some schools have no formal program.
What's happened since Sandy Hook is that it's become a national conversation, and I think there's motivation in every school in this state to take a look at their safety program.
For John Michael Keyes, developing a standard training and response protocol and pressing schools in Colorado and nationwide to adopt it has become a life's work for both him and his wife, Ellen.
And that's a tough conversation in an economy that is very challenging right now.
Until you have an incident.
Until you have an incident.
They lost their only daughter, Emily, to a madman with a gun who took hostages at Platte Canyon High School in 2006. The school had trained extensively for such a crisis with local law enforcement, and the Columbine-experienced Jefferson County SWAT team took charge. These factors and Emily Keyes' heroic intervention saved many lives.
We haven't committed to funding what that standard would look like and how that standard is to be implemented.
16-year-old Emily's final text to her parents, "I love you guys," became the name of the foundation that now produces materials and helps train students and teachers in Colorado and across the country on what is known as the Standard Response Protocol.
And you really have to make sure that you make an investment in the training that doesn't start one year and stop the next year.
For John McDonald, Security and Emergency Management Chief for the Jefferson County School District, scenes from Columbine are never far from his mind. 12 students and a teacher died, as did the two killers. Nor is the shooting at the district's Deer Creek Middle School in 2010, where no one died.
We trained the Deer Creek team 3 weeks before the school shooting on the Standard Response Protocol.
The Standard Response Protocol entails simple, common language and symbols: lockout, lockdown, evacuate, and shelter, taking immediate defensive action to create space and time between targets and a gunman.
We start training our kids in this program at preschool, 3 years old.
It is far different than the more complicated federal emergency management materials on which some schools base their programs, often using codes.
We've had some districts use Code Sister Mary Clarence. Code words don't mean a lot in a crisis.
We are going to initiate the lockdown drill.
But not all school districts in Colorado use the same protocol. For example, the Academy District in Colorado Springs has its own training protocol.
We have built our plans, again, around what we understand to be standard emergency protocols taught by FEMA, taught by U.S. Department of Education.
Larry Borland is the experienced security chief for the Academy schools in Colorado Springs. He believes his safety plan is right and effective for his district.
3, that's affirmative.
And like Jefferson County, its safety tools include central monitoring of schools and armed school resource officers. But
I really believe that there should be a standard protocol statewide so that it doesn't matter whether it's Colorado Springs tactical team or Jefferson County SWAT team or whoever, that they know pretty much what every school is going to do. There's schools out there that haven't done a drill, ever.
Yeah.
And that's not acceptable.
Have you ever had a drill in this building with law enforcement coming in, doing an active shooter or any kind of drill like that?
No, we have not.
Just because?
Just the logistics of getting all those people on the same day and the same page.
Tom Arensdorf is superintendent of the Flagler-Araba School District in eastern Colorado. His small district has this single building with students K through 12. And like so many rural schools in Colorado, it is far from law enforcement.
Kit Carson County Sheriff's Office, which we're in Kit Carson County, that's in Burlington, and that's 43 miles away.
This school conducts a single lockdown drill every year, and the district simply does not have the funds to dedicate to a training program.
I think there should be some standards, and I think there should be some financial assistance to do those things, but everybody knows what kind of condition the state budget's been in.
But, says the superintendent, that will be no excuse if there's another incident in Colorado. And all those we talked with who are involved in school safety say that is something the legislature ought to consider.
Who's going to be that person that comes to my building? You have dreams about that. You have nightmares about that because it could happen anywhere.
Now, some rural districts have responded by trying to arm school administrators, but there are legal restrictions to that, and school safety experts say that's dangerous because responding officers coming in would have no idea who the bad guy is with a gun. And right now, there are no proposals in the legislature to address school safety training. Live in the newsroom, I'm John Ferrugia, 7 News.